Team, where we sit, key factors for us. We need to have marginal improvements offensively. As a football team, to take the next step. You'll see a number of new faces. We'll talk a little bit more about those as we go, but that is a key in the offseason is to simply get better on defense. Some tweaks in the scheme, but bottom line is personnel and creating more competition. I think will be the key important factors there. Offensively, if you look at us from a year ago, we didn't have enough big plays on the offensive side of the football. We need to be able to be a team that can catch a hitch and go for 80 or break a big run. Special teams, we were able to do that in one phase of the game with a kickoff return of Kerwin-Williams. The rest of the special teams were functional, but not where they need to be. So a big question mark within our kicking game. Last year, we need to improve in the area of punting. We're replacing a snapper we feel very good about. So, in general speaking terms, a major push for us this year is going to be to play with technique. That's a key factor for us. Our ability to be able to be assignment sound and understand exactly where we're going, why we're going there, I think is important. We're going into year 3. The ability for us as a defense and offensive special teams to not just know our job and look outside the box and understand what's going on around us is really what I'm talking about. I can get up on a board and say, yeah, I'm the A-gap player, or I'm supposed to get up to the next level and block this guy, or I'm supposed to run an out route. That's not where we need to be as a program. We've got to be able to take the next step and truly understand what the young man next to me is doing, which will allow me to become a better football player. So, personally, individually, if you break this down on offense, Robert Turbin is back. Had a tremendous spring. Feel very good about him and where he sits. We get him out. We did not tackle him in the spring, but he looks to be full speed. Michael Smith, another running back that was with us a year ago, had a toe injury. Is moving around much better. Is not cleared yet. Expect him to be cleared at some point during camp. We'll see where that goes. Stanley Morrison, very talented wide receiver. No 9 played very, very well for us. He appears to be back at this point and has done a very nice job of rehabbing. We have not seen him on the field, did not participate in the spring, but we expect Stanley to be back with us. And obviously, he is that explosive, dynamic player that we've been talking about. The progress and the development of the offensive line will be big for us, and overall, we will see it's a work in progress. We need more physical tight end spot. Also, Kellen Bartlett is a very talented young man from a year ago. Biggest question mark for us, one more young man that worth note from the offensive side is Matt Austin, a wide receiver, played very well against Oklahoma last year. Was a dynamic player, did some nice things for us early. He has been hurt twice in our program, and both very unfortunate injuries that took him out for the year. He seems to be back full speed, ready to go. And then Tanner Rich is also an offensive tackle who came off an ACL. We expect him to be back, so we'll see how that goes. The quarterback position is up in the air, will remain up in the air. It was a 2-man race in spring. It will go into fall, 3-man race with Chucky Keaton walking in to the program. We'll see where he sits. He's been involved in the summer program. How he's done, don't know that. I know he's a hard worker. He's done a nice job academically, getting himself in a good position, and he seems to have adapted well just from a social standpoint, an academic standpoint. But he will be with us in the fall. He's very different than Alex. He's very different than Adam. He's an athlete, very, very fast, very, very talented young man as far as athletic ability. So his ability to be able to come in and possibly create a package just for Chuck will be a possibility as we continue to move forward with the offense. On the defensive side of the ball, a number of new faces. I'm not going to take the time to go out and talk about each one of those young men, but there's a number of JC guys that should create competition. It remains to be seen. A couple of young men to highlight is obviously Bobby Wagner, tremendous young man, great player, great leader, great student, 100-plus tackles the last 2 years. A lot of preseason accolades that I think he deserves. Proud of him. He needs to be the leader of our defense. My push with Bobby and our push as the defensive staff with Bobby Wagner will be put him in position to make big plays for us on the other side of the line of scrimmage, whether that be a sack or a TFL. We have to do a tremendous job of putting Bobby Wagner in a position to change the game in a positive way for us. And that is a major push for Bobby to become that player, and in turn, as a staff, we need to make sure we give him every opportunity we can to help him get that done. Nevin Lawson, very talented young corner, as a freshman, started the last 3 games for him. Last 3 games of last year. Looks very good, moving in the right direction there. But in the back end, we were not as bad in the back end, in my opinion, after I went back and looked at last year, as the stats state. We were very poor up front, sacking the quarterback, putting pressure on the quarterback, which in turn gave the wide receivers, the quarterback, another second and a half. We were unable to put the quarterback's timing in his mind to say, I better get rid of this football or I'm going to have a problem coming my way real quick, which in turn allowed the defensive backs to have to cover forever. It became very difficult, and we're not able to play at a high level. So we've got to improve in all areas there. And, I expect moving Bill Bush, the special teams coordinator, we spent a number of years in Nebraska doing that. They were some of the best special teams in the country, in my opinion, and this film speaks for itself. When he was at Nebraska with some talented young men, I believe that that'll help us tremendously to get him in that spot. We've been good on special teams in certain areas, but I expect us to be much improved there and be able to change the game in our favor rather than just kind of have it be a wash. So overall, excited to get started. Tremendous opportunity for all of us in this league this year. No real surprises for me in the polls. 3 teams that are picked 1, 2, and 3. Very established, bold teams. Consistent winners. Where else would you put them? Hawaii comes out number 1. They got the returning quarterback. Doesn't surprise me at all there either. So the rest of the teams in the conference are continually, fighting day in and day out to be able to get ourselves in position to be in a bowl game. And I think that's where you see the rest of us fitting at this point, getting to a bowl game and competing and getting into games in November that matter to put us in a position to win a championship. That's exactly what we see as a program, and we're looking forward to the opportunity as we move forward. So, questions? Yes.
Considering all of the changes that you've made within the program, and some of the challenges that you've had, overturning the roster, is this, the first year that you kind of come in and you're looking for real tangible results on the field, and you think that you guys are capable of that?
I've never gone to a season and I felt like we would be a very good football team. I think everybody feels that way walking in. We do have more competition this year. I think that's a true measure of a program, how many young men are actually out there competing for a job day in and day out. But the key is when it wasn't good enough a year ago, is to look at the young men in the program, look at your coaches, but first of all, I've got to look at myself and understand exactly why we were where we were at. And we've done that. We've established the problems that we believe that we had. We went out and recruited in that manner. We've placed the coaching staff in the best position we think we can to be able to give us an opportunity to compete and play at a high level. I'm looking forward to the year. And, time will tell. It becomes very, very simple, wins and losses, but we have created more competition. We are a bigger football team. We're a stronger football team, but proof will all come out in wins and losses at the end of the day.
I know the kicking game was a big question mark at the end of spring and frustrating for you. The debacle, yes. What's your plan with that for the fall, and is Josh Thompson going to be back into the mix with them?
It looks that way. Yeah, it looks like Josh will be back. We've done everything we can to create competition in that area. We will have a record number for me, a number of kickers in camp. The number will be 7, and excited about the opportunity to watch those young men come in and compete. The new kickers that will be in our program in the fall will come in as the starting kickers, and you'll see that a lot on our football team. My belief is when you sign as many junior college kids as we've had, we need to get those kids on the field. They'll be on the field with the 1s and the 2s early. That'll also happen with the special teams. Now, the one place I did feel good about it, walking out, was Nate Needham, the snapper. I thought he did a very nice job as a freshman walking in, and he's a mature kid. He's a return missionary. He's 21 years old. He's married. Should be able to handle the situation, and he has so far. So felt good about that part of it, but our punting and our kicking was not good in the spring, and it has to improve, or it will cost us football games. And we have addressed it, and we've addressed it aggressively, and looking forward to see what takes place.
Gary, it's been a long time since Utah State truly had stars like Wagner and Turbin, how do guys like that elevate your team? And also, basically, what's the difference between 4 and 8 and where you want to go?
Well, the way they elevate the football team to me is their daily work ethic. When you just look at those two young men, that tremendous God-given ability, there's no question. They're gifted. But what they've done, the way they've progressed socially, the way they've progressed academically over the last 2 years is so important to me, and I believe that's why they've become tremendous football players. I truly believe that. I think if you recruit the right type of young man to your program that loves football, that will just buy into what you're asking them to do socially and academically, the football side will take care of itself. I believe that Robert and Bobby are both true examples of that. So very, very proud of them. There's a number of other kids that are they're the two that are with us today, and football's important to them. They love it. And being a leader is important to them. Their ability to be able to wrap their arms around a young freshman that's 17, 18 years old. Their ability to be able to wrap their arms around a 24-year-old Stetson Tenney who came off an LDS mission, who doesn't have a lot in common with Bobby Wagner or Robert Turbin, but their ability to be able to get a bond and wrap their arms around each other is very, very important. And that's where I'm very proud of those kids for that. The difference between 4 and 8 and getting where we want to be, a lot. I don't know where you want to start. It's the next step is exactly where we are, and it can be 1 or 2 plays. It can be a game. I think if you sat back and you evaluated our program a year ago, probably the most disheartening moment for me would have been a tremendous victory against BYU on national television, and them going down and losing to Louisiana Tech. Louisiana Tech deserved to win that football game. They won that football game. Did we play well? Did we play bad? Did we play great? It doesn't matter what happened. We lost that game, and we had tremendous opportunities to gain momentum, to win a WAC game on the road, to be on a national stage after we beat BYU, and to be able to stand up and do it again against a quality football team on the road. We have to take that step, and that's if you want to talk about taking the next step. We've got to win one of those games, which means winning back to back, which means winning on the road. We've defended our home turf with really nothing more than a winning record for the last 2 years. When I took this job, Lavelle Edwards told me that's one of the first things you have to do. You have to be able to win at home. You have to establish a winning record at home. Well, we've done that for 2 years, but it's not enough. Now we've got to be able to go on the road and win. We've got to be able to beat people back to back, and those are a couple of things we have not been able to do. So taking the next step, those are 2 big keys for us to have an opportunity to get to a bowl game and again play meaningful games in the month of November that matter if there's in position to play the championship.
Coach, you've got a few returning starters on the O-line. Could you just talk about them for a little bit?
Yeah. If you look back, Tyler Larson, tremendous young man, Jordan High School, started as a freshman. He's on many watch lists as a sophomore offensive center. He is, as a young, youthful player, he is truly a leader, again, by example in the way he carries himself day in and day out. I feel great about him. He can play center and play guard right now. He is playing center all the time. We'll see how that goes. Phil Gapley, who's come in and has been there since we've been here, been a starter since we've been here, and really has had a fantastic off-season. I believe he's had a very good summer, positioned himself to graduate very soon. Very proud of him for that. And so I think that's really the 2 guys where we sit back and say, okay, those are the men. Those are the guys that can get us through there. And Eric Schultz played a lot last year for us. The tackle position is going to be so key. Is it Stetson? Tenney, is he going to come in and be the starter? Is it going to be Oscar Molina, who is another young man that had an injury last year that on and off that I should have mentioned? Is it going to be Tanner Ritchies, who had an injury last year? In this league, you're going to have 1 or 2 teams, and there are some great pass rushers in this league that aren't with us anymore. They're going to be playing on Sundays. Good for us, bad for those other teams, but I'm sure the next level of guys are coming up that can rush the passer. So how our offensive line is going to go, I believe, feel very good about the inside 3, the guards and the centers feel very good. The development of the tackles will be a major factor in the productivity of our offense and the success
Coach, along those lines, are you finally equipped to win games in the trenches on both sides of the line?
I hope so. On paper, I like the way we look a lot better, and it's, you hit it right on the head. If you look back and you say we want to play with technique and we want to understand our assignments, if we are going to take the next step, and this was really the third step as a staff and as a football team we talked about, we have got to be able to win on the front seven on offense and the front seven on defense. And when I say that, I've already mentioned on defense, we've got to be able to TFL sacks, we've got to be able to change the line of scrimmage to make dynamic plays. But just as important, we need to be stout up front. We need to be a respectable front line that if you're going to get your yards and you're going to come through there, you're going to know that you blocked very cleanly whatever play you're running to be able to earn the yards. We're just not going to give it to you. And on the offensive side of the ball, we've got to be able to line up on 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3 and get it, and get it with physicality and not have to make these smoke and mirrors and always running to the edges of the defense and doing all the different things you do. We need to line up and play smash mouth football on offense, and we need to line up on defense and be able to stop smash mouth football to be able to win in this league. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to have an opportunity to beat Nevada, if you're going to have an opportunity to beat a Fresno, you're going to have to be able to line up and stop the power run game, because that's what they're all about. And until you can do that consistently, you're going to have a hard time. And the best way to stop the power run game is to be running the ball yourself. So we'll see where we sit. Again, feel better about it, but time will tell.
Coach Dan McCartney with the San Antonio Express News. Just wanted to see what are your thoughts about Texas State UTSA. Obviously, they won't come in until next year, but pretty unknown quantities, especially in UTSA's situation. But what do you see them bringing to the WAC next season?
Well, what they bring to the WAC is two, I believe, will be quality programs. Texas obviously understands big-time football. That's what the WAC is big-time football. They'll know what they're getting themselves into. They'll represent themselves very well. It's a college hotbed for prospects, which we all know. It's important for us at Utah State. We have 3 coaches devoted to recruiting the state of Texas, and so it is a recruiting advantage for us, in my opinion, to be able to walk into young men's homes and let them know that, you know what, it's guaranteed I'm coming home to play, a couple games, 1 game guaranteed, maybe 2 games every single year that I'm going to be able to get back, and my parents are going to be able to go, grandma, girlfriend, brothers, sisters are going to be able to come and watch me play and not have to drive a long ways. So it brings a lot to the WAC. The 2 coaches speak for themselves. One will be successful, had the opportunity to play or coach against Dennis. It's great teams, and both their records speak for themselves. What they've done brings instant credibility to a program, and brings instant, we walk into the home with those coaches as an assistant coach, and brings instant credibility to a program. So a great ad, in my opinion, and excited to get them with us in the future. And right now, we got to worry about this year, but we're in good hands.
Seems like Burrell was such a dynamic quarterback and didn't do a lot of things. Is that the type of offense you want to run for your quarterback, or you can make adjustments?
We will always make an adjustment. Very interesting question. We'll still have the feel of the spread at times. We will definitely be under center more with our ability of our running backs. And again, to have a quarterback, the thought is now is to have a quarterback that will walk in and truly manage the game. Do the things we can ask him to do. So will we be more pro style at times? Yes, we will. Will we still get out and run a spread offense at times? But I think you're going to see more of a feel of a play action, power run game, more of a physical presence to the offense than you had with DeAndre, because DeAndre was exactly what you said, very dynamic, had the ability to make plays at any moment, and had the ability to win games for you with his feet, with his mind, and with his arm. And now we're going to be a little bit different with hopefully the ability to make those big plays comes from the wide receivers, comes from the running backs, comes from the tight ends, and not so much just from the quarterback.
Any more questions?
Is there a timetable when you'll name a quarterback? Or?
I would like to say a week. Right now, my timetable is a week and a half into camp. we'll have a fairly big scrimmage fairly early in camp, and I would like to be able to get that done about a week and a half.
Any more questions?
Thank you all, I appreciate it very much.